Apple, price target is 178. It's about 10% lower than the stock's actually trading right now. What are you expecting from WWDC? Are you expecting anything that might change your price target or your view on the company?
So what I'll be focusing on, Frank, is how they're going to use artificial intelligence to sell more iPhones, given their over-reliance on iPhones, which were half their revenue last fiscal year. And I'm not convinced on a near-term basis that Apple's going to do anything that's going to enable it to do much better in smartphone sales. When you think about a much-needed upgrade to Siri, I don't think that's going to get consumers to buy more iPhones. And I think the two big challenges for Apple when it comes to artificial intelligence are going to be navigating privacy-related concerns, given their emphasis of privacy, and then AI's mistakes or hallucinations, given Apple's intent on giving products to consumers that actually work.
Pretty bearish there, Tom. Man, you don't see any real upside here? I mean, you're not really seeing anything that might get either you excited or investors excited?
Again, on a near-term basis, I think it's wonderful for NVIDIA, for chips. It's wonderful for hyperscale cloud computing companies. You see this, Microsoft's now the most valuable market cap, NVIDIA's second, Apple's third. So on a near-term basis, I am bearish on AI when it comes to Apple.
Very bearish, Tom, very bearish. All right, Nancy, I'm going to come over to you. Obviously, you're the more bullish between the two of us. You're an investor. So what are you expecting from WWDC today? And are you expecting anything that might change your position, either to add, trim?
Well, I think Tom's right on a lot of points, Frank, but I would also point out that usually after this event, the stock trades down, but 3 months later, it's up about 12%. So if you get a decline in the stock price and the news is good, and I'll clarify that, then I think you step in and add to holdings. But I do think there are some things that Tim Cook learned from the Google Maps debacle, which was when we initiated the stock in 2013. And so he's been very cagey about not mentioning AI until last earnings report. I do think they're going to have some wow factor in the announcement, and the privacy issue, as Tom pointed out, is critical because that is a differentiator for Apple. And then the last thing I'll say is that with almost 40% of the 800 million iPhones outstanding, 40%. Hey, it's early. 40% of 40% of the installed base is an iPhone 12 or older. So we do think there is going to be an upgrade cycle that could add $30 to $40 to the stock price, driven by AI, but mostly also driven by the fact that the installed base is old.
All right, so Nancy, you're hitting on a really important topic here, the stock price. So Apple's lagging most of the Mag 7. We've seen huge gains this year, but I want to hit on something you just said. So do you think it's wise that Tim Cook kind of held back and waited to show his cards until now? So it sounds like you think, if that's wise, that he has cards to show.
Well, I do think so. I mean, Apple is never first, but they're always best. And so I think keeping that in mind, it's going to matter how the developers react to the announcement. But I do think that the services, impact to services and the impact to the iPhone upgrade, and I believe services is equally as important as the upgrade cycle, when Tom probably disagrees with me on that. But I do think that's going to matter. And I remember watching the Apple Watch launch, and it was pretty cool, and the stock did nothing afterwards. So just be prepared for that.
All right, we've got to be perfect. By the way, people have to do their own Googles about that 2013 Google Maps thing, but that's, really a very interesting parallel that you're pointing out there, Nancy. Tom, I want to come back to you. You're actually making a parallel between this announcement and the Apple Vision Pro. So for investors, how should they view this through the lens of the Apple Vision Pro, not really seeming to move the needle either for consumers or investors?
So to me, the Vision Pro is kind of the poster child for artificial intelligence in Apple. And on a near-term basis, despite the fact that they had the launch in the March quarter, it did not move the needle. I think the challenge when it comes to the Vision Pro is it's going to take time for Apple to introduce consumers to spatial computing, or how they like to refer to it, things in that base. And the $34.99 price point, I think, is a big gating factor. So that, to me, though, is the most important near-term AI initiative for Apple, and it has not had a material impact to sales.
So oftentimes in previous years, we talk about Apple really being a market mover and a really leader. Now it seems like it's more NVIDIA, and maybe the tech sector moves Apple a bit. So I want to ask you guys if Apple's first push into AI, if it probably came at the best time possible, because I want to read some stats off to you. According to Bank of America, U.S. tech stocks, they just posted their largest weekly inflows in 9 weeks to just about $1 billion after slipping late last month. Are you expecting Apple to be the beneficiary of this, tech rebound? I know tech's been showing leadership all year. Tom, I'm going to start with you. Does Apple just benefit from this upswing in tech, or does it definitely need WWDC?
It definitely needs WWDC. You're looking at a stock that's trading at about a 25-time PE with very modest top and bottom line growth, low single digit. The benefits to tech from NVIDIA and Microsoft are wonderful, but Apple's still an expensive stock, and they need something at the developers conference to get investors excited.
Nancy, your mind, is Apple going to be swept up in this tech upswing, or is this a make or break moment for this stock? Of course, when we look at the Mag 7, we see Tesla trading lower, so it's possible to be in this group and still not see that benefit.
Yeah, I do think, I think Tom's right. They need WWDC to be impressive. But remember, too, that this company generates over $100 billion in free cash flow, which they turn around and use to buy back their shares. So there is a floor under the stock. And I think that's why it has surprised people that it hasn't maybe gone down further, given the lack of innovation. So I do think it's critical, but I wouldn't be alarmed if the stock sells off. I would actually use it as a buying opportunity.